Finalist number 5 is Frob Duguid. He's in the Department of Kinesiology and Health, and his advisor is Kevin Ballard. And he'll be talking about the effects of aerobic exercise on vascular function during sitting. Frob.
Hello. So the purpose of my thesis was to investigate the effects of aerobic exercise on vascular function during sitting. But before we get there, let's take a quick poll of the audience. How many of you have sat for at least 1 hour today? Any kind of sitting, not including babysitting. Okay, keep your hands up if that's at least 2 hours. Okay, how about 3? All right, so most of the audience. So that tells us what we already know, and that's that sitting is ubiquitous in American culture. It's everywhere. In fact, the typical US adult spends about 8 hours in sedentary behavior, mostly sitting. And that's a problem. It's a problem because increased time spent sitting is associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and mortality. So in other words, the time you spend sitting at home, sitting at work, and even sitting listening to awesome thesis presentations contributes to the risk of developing cardiovascular disease, which is the #1 killer of Americans. Now, it's not all bad news. The good news is that exercise, particularly aerobic exercise, is effective at treating and preventing cardiovascular disease. However, the interaction between exercise and sitting hasn't received much attention in the research, until now. So, for my thesis, my research team and I took 11 healthy Miami students, and we had them complete 2 conditions. One condition was an exercise condition, where they jogged on a treadmill for 45 minutes, and then they sat. The other condition was a non-exercise condition, where they still did the sitting. And during the sitting, we investigated the function of the blood vessels in their legs. And what we found was that the participants who were inactive before they sat had a decrease in blood vessel function. In contrast, the exercise protected the blood vessels in the legs. So let me say that again because that's important. Exercise before sitting was effective at protecting the blood vessels for up to 3 hours. Now, there's a lot of work that needs to be done filling in the gaps before we know how much exercise and how much sitting you can tolerate. But let me leave you with this example. If you knew you were going to go out and spend hours in the sunshine, maybe you're going to the beach, you'd take steps to protect yourself. You bring sunscreen, maybe some form of shade. So the next time you know you're going to spend hours in a day sitting, why not protect yourself with a little bit of exercise first?